All right, and we are back with the HODL review live. We had a little bit of a glitch. Apparently, Windows wanted to shut down, and it did. So Ajax came into the room and hit the switch. I told him multiple times not to hit that switch. Computer shut off, as did the rest of the power in here. So, just kidding. So anyhow, so we're having a lively discussion about CoinField. That's what we're doing today. We're doing a full review of CoinField, the exchange. So for those, if you didn't watch part one, we'll just do a quick recap, especially if you're coming through as you're coming back and watching it as a post live stream. So if you're coming back in post live stream, we are going through a rebranding. The rebranding will be happening here hopefully over the next week. You've heard us, Chip and I, talking a lot about OTC. There's definitely a lot of great things happening. There's going to be amazing content, exciting content, more in-depth reviews, interviews. It's going to be fantastic. So those announcements will be rolling out hopefully within a week. We're also going through and building out on the website side, everything so that we can get more key information over to you guys. So, AJ, I was going to say, thanks for that. I think it was the something when you came in. I was just saying that, how many times I've said not to hit that switch, and all the power went out, shut everything down, and now we're back in it. So sorry, I've got my phone down here. I've got to watch the chat down here. I need to put something, a little mechanism, so I can have it up a little bit higher. So I can see it. I've got one of those little arms. I think I'll get that. We've got Dansky popping in, Wildstar's back in. I'm sure more people will start popping in as we go. So we're gonna jump right into CoinField. On the previous one, if you go back, if again you're watching after in the post live stream, go back and watch number one. We talked a little bit about Robinhood. We talked about some of the key points of what we want to look for every time we do a review of an exchange like this. Prior to when you're getting ready to decide which exchange you want to go to, first and foremost, you want to make sure that the exchange is approved and sanctioned to be functional and allowing you to trade on in the country that you're residing in, obviously, but also you want to make sure that they've done all of their due diligence to make sure that they're meeting all regulatory needs, and making sure they're compliant, and making sure that they are making sure that you're compliant with country laws and state laws, when it comes to the United States. So there's so much to go into it, so much to think about, but just a statement isn't enough. You want to really dig in, and it has to be very clear and identified, from a legal framework perspective, to know that they're going through all the regulatory requirements, compliance requirements. So I am going to try this transition thing again. When I transition, there might just be a brief pause. We'll get back into it, and we'll be good. So Dansky, regulated and insured are two key factors. Agree 100%. Regulation and security are the two most important aspects before you even think about the exchange. Forget about how great it is. It might be the best exchange in the world. Without security and without them providing making sure that they're compliant with any regulation, all the rest is really for nothing. So let's do this quick transition. Hopefully it all works, and we'll be right over to there we go. So we had a momentary pause in everything, and we are right back looking at CoinField. So one of the key points here that we want to point out, again, comes to security. Security. So let's pop right in here and look at cutting edge security. When we looked at their their homepage, they identify some key points. It's great. Hey, we're serving 100 countries. This is on the exchange. What happened to their homepage? Hang on a second. Go back, open up a new link. Let's look at their homepage. This is the Canadian Bitcoin cryptocurrency exchange. Don't remember which link that was. but let's look at their homepage when it pops up. There we go. This growing trading platform, and they go into some key bullet points which we'd expect everyone to do. They have some really important factors, but now we want to let's look at how they're compliant with legal regulation, and let's look at security. So they make a big statement on security, but we want to know more. It's not good enough just to say, hey, we're secure. Hey, we're insured. I want to know how you're insured. I want to know how you're secured. And I want an in-depth description of that. It needs to be someplace on your website. This is a very critical moment, mainly because an exchange, it's not just a website we're going to go get news, because even if there's a site where you're filling out any kind of information and your information is being transacted online, you better hope that they have a little lock here, that they're securing, that there's full security of your data, of your information. That's first and foremost with any website that's taking your information. But this goes above and beyond. We're talking about not just, hey, are you about that? What I do care about those, I'm putting digital asset, I'm putting fiat currency onto your exchange. If you're in the United States, I want to make sure you're FDIC insured. If you're out of the country and I'm using your exchange, I want to make sure that if I'm holding fiat currency on your exchange, that fiat currency is secured. I want to make sure that, and I want to make sure not just secured, but insured. I also want to make sure that if I have, and I'm using an exchange and I'm leaving digital asset on your exchange, I want to make sure that it's fully secured and insured somehow. So obviously there's no real insurance from a trading perspective. And even, with Coinbase, they fully secure US dollars. They have $250,000 under FDIC, just like a bank. And so we can't anticipate or expect that on another exchange, but we do want to make sure, are we still getting reverb or are we good? Maybe I'm talking too loud. Hopefully, yeah, just give me another sound check. If you're getting any reverb, anything negative, definitely let me know. I want to make sure that we're solid here. I'm using something new here called Crisp that Chip had recommended. So haven't used it before. And I probably should have tested out a little bit more, but I just wanted to jump in and get this done. I added a little, another filter in the back end on OBS, so I probably have to keep my my voice down a little bit. David D, you're talking about DNI. Great. Will you return? How to review is a brief reverb. Okay, great. Awesome. Thank you. So again, going back into security, here's where they get into an in-depth discussion of their security, and it goes even further. But their general security, obviously, it's important to understand they're using latest technological advancement. I would expect that. Server isolation, I think this is really key. Their servers are isolated, and I would hope that they built in redundancies into it as well, because it's not just enough to be secure and isolated, but you need redundancy. So you have multiple layers of gateways are required to allow access to data, making it the most secure trading platform in Canada. Interesting. And hopefully they provide more information on that if we ask about their server isolation and access. Secret vault. They use a one-of-a-kind secret vault that's been built from scratch. I would like to know more about that. And so there has to be somewhere where they talk about this, because if it's one of a kind, what does that really mean? Obviously, maybe it's data that they're not going to release, but there's something that we can find about this. This digital vault has been created with the highest technological standards and placed behind a virtual cloud. That's interesting. It's hidden. Its location is hidden. Okay, so obviously they know who knows where it is, but I think that there's obviously some redundancy built in to understand who knows where the secret vault is. Okay, they use multi-sig wallets. That's good. Let's see. CoinField supports more complicated transactions that require the signatures of multiple peers before the funds can be transferred. Okay, so they're building a lot of internal redundancies with people. So I'd like to also see a lot of redundancies built in and more automation as well. But that's my limited technological knowledge on that. So let's see. System wallets. They use 3 different advanced wallet technologies to keep assets secure. So we have the cold wallet, the cold storage to keep it offline. And I think that's important. Then they have the warm wallet for daily cash flow. So that's good. They have the difference between cold and warm. And then where's the third? I don't see it in here. Okay. So let's see. Only retrieval. Only if 2 founders are present at the same time. So hopefully there's more than 2 people, because if one of them's gone, then you probably have an issue. Suspicious activity, CoinField law. And so this is what was the Quadringa CX. You definitely want to make sure that we're avoiding any type of Quadringa CX scenarios reoccurring. You can't have one person with a wallet. You can't just have 2 people with access. There have to be other mechanisms in place in case something happens to one of the 2 or just the one. There has to be methodologies and mechanisms in place to make sure that everything doesn't just disappear. Obviously, there was a lot of other things going on at the time with Quadriga. So then here we have two-way authentication factor, so also known as a 2-step verification. That's good. And I like having the 2-step verification when you log in. I think that's important. I think it's also important to be able to use like the Google Authentic, not just sending a code to your phone or being able to click off on your phone. It's good. That's easy, but it's good to have the Google Authenticator built in. That's key. Suspicious activity logger. I would anticipate that they're doing that. They're logging all activities of its users, and they immediately put an account on hold for review and verification if they think that something's going on. Obviously, if it's just you moving your tokens like you normally would. But here we have look, account from multiple locations during a short time frame or through an unknown IP address. So that's important. I like the fact they're securing. So if you move to another IP address, you should anticipate that they're protecting you. You shouldn't get angry if for some reason, that for whatever reason that all of a sudden your trades are on hold because you're trading from a new computer. Maybe there should be a mechanism to be able to register your new IP address with them. So and I haven't logged in, I haven't signed up for them. So this is just a very surface-based review of their platform. It's good to see that they're using CDN to distribute its content. They want to provide DDoS attacks. That's key. And so then they use end-to-end 256-bit SSL. That's all good stuff. It's good that they say that. But we want to be able to really dig in and and understand more aspects of that as well. So we can get in. We can look. And there's a lot more information, especially when we get into the legal perspective. So we're looking at security. We can go into the About Us section. And when you look at the About Us, is this, wait, no, that's the, okay, we got that. Trading. Where is here we go. Okay, so here's a white label crypto exchange, A to Z, complete system to start run a digital asset exchange. This is interesting. So it's really interesting, some of the things that they're getting into. So if you want to look at this, complete system to start and run a digital asset exchange. So they have a mechanism. So they're also promoting the back end if you want to basically create your own, our all-in-one white label licensing package. I think that's interesting that they're doing other things beyond like a custom, world-class customizable dashboard professional trading platform. That's really cool. To me though, it's going to be about security. It's going to be about their AML KYC solutions just in general. This is I skipped over this the first time, so it's just interesting being able to run through this at this point. But let's go back, and we want to look at. I wanted to look at this one. I meant to pull it up, and I also want to look at available countries, and we want to also look at restricted countries, because these are all key. So we want to know, where are they in terms of protecting AML and KYC policy, AML being anti-money laundering and KYC, and having a statement on it is really important. So, an understanding from a regulatory perspective, and if you want more information on it, we can email off to it. But it's good to see that they have a statement on it. I think it's important. Registration number. Key, it follows all the requirements set by FinTrack and other law enforcement agencies for AML, and there's the registration number. We can look that up. Compliance program requirements under proceeds of crime, money laundering, etc. That's important, and you can tell that from an AML perspective, they're really dotting their I's and crossing their T's with everybody giving enough information, or giving everybody enough information on the AML aspect. Then we get into KYC, know your customer. So these are two important criteria, and I like how they go through this process. So we verify the identity of all users. They're one of the following methods. They're using Equifax. So they partnered with Equifax, and I know Equifax, I believe they had their own internal issue, losing information or getting hacked or whatever, but I believe they secured that breach. I have my own stories when it comes to these credit exchanges, but anyhow, so they partner with Equifax. They want to verify the identity of each user automatically in order to save time. That's huge. That's a big step. They're taking it from they're moving into a space, and I kind of like this because when we look at Coinbase is on the up and up. We're talking about operating in the mainstream space. We're not talking about operating in the tech space where everybody's used to just having their wallets and just moving things around and taking the big risk. So there's so much more to it. When we focus on this from a mainstream perspective. And imagine now we go 2019, we go into 2020, and we start seeing mainstream adoption. We start seeing more and more people from Main Street moving over to an exchange. And last week we talked a little bit if they're leaving E-Trade or leaving one of the big stock platforms, and they want to move from the stock platform over to whatever the platform is going to be for them. If they're in Canada and some other countries that can use CoinField, great. They're going to use CoinField. CoinField's not you can't use it in the United States right now, Dan. It's not available. But I'm sure they're working through the process to where they will be, and we'll find out because we're going to dig into that here in a minute. But so the KYC is important. I like this blending. I like the blending of the digital asset exchange with the idea of the bank, because as we want to migrate more and more into a digital asset space, they need to be able to provide banking type solutions, and they need to start wrapping themselves in banking regulatory, framework. But now here you have a manual verification by a KYC team. So they have an automated verification. If the automated verification fails, then they turn it over to a KYC team. The file's sent to our compliance team to be reviewed carefully. So they're doing a lot of due diligence on it from a KYC perspective, and very, very important. Overall, again, from a mainstream adoption perspective, this is key. Corporate account verification. I really like this for again from an institutional client perspective. They're doing the KYC. Again, look, and the entity's beneficial ownership. So they want to look at a so this is really key, but going into corporate account verifications, how do they go through that process? What is, if, look at this, proof of existence, certificate of corporate status, if it's within a previous 12 months, if they're in corporation profile report. So they're going a lot also into, so you're not hiding behind a corporate, identifier. They still need to look at this, proof of address, utility bill, bank statement, or any government record. This is serious. This is really serious. Trade name registration, if it's applicable. Beneficiary ownership attestation. That's funny. Form an ID on the ultimate beneficiary. So this is names and addresses of the individuals who are beneficial owners of the corporation. So you can't hide behind a corporation. That's also important from a KYC perspective. So now let's look at where they are and where they aren't. So from the proudly serves 100 countries, let's take a look at where they are. Now you can see a list of restricted. We're going to go into that in a minute. They're in lots of countries. You can do a search if you want, but North America, they're in Canada and Mexico. That's it. Europe, they're in quite a few countries right now available, but not all countries. But here we have, look at this, from Albania, Austria. I'm not gonna read them one by one, but you can see most of Europe is in here. You got the UK in here. Let me look here. Ireland, Italy's in there. So yeah, then we get into Latin America. You get most of the Latin American countries. Asia, you get a good number of the Asian countries. Then you get into the Middle East, and you've got quite a few of the Middle Eastern countries, Africa, Australia, New Zealand. So there's pretty far-reaching in terms of where CoinField is available, and that's kind of nice, that you can go that far. And what's cool about this is that if you look here, let's open up one of the countries. So let's say we open up Germany as an example. They're going to get into the best Bitcoin and cryptocurrency exchange in Germany. Get started for your country. Wide range of cryptocurrency pairs in Germany. So they've customized it, now country specific. But here we have proudly Canadian. So this is, again, it's a Canadian exchange. Now let's go. Now we've seen those that are approved. Now let's get into restricted countries. There's multiple reasons as to why they can't trade yet in that country, because they're still going through some clarity and going through regulation. And so this is really important. So now we say, okay, I like that, David. This is what service transparency looks like. Exactly. Here they're giving you a very clear distinction of here's where you can trade, here's where you can't trade. It's not just a statement. This is in depth. And so now as we go through, there's a lot of countries on this list where you can't trade. Obviously, some of them, there's reasons why you're not able to trade in them, like Iran and some of the others. But then when we get into it, we want to look for the United States. Here's China, obviously Venezuela, but we get into the U.S. So there's quite a few reasons why you can't trade yet, mainly because it hasn't met specific criteria. So for like the United States, for instance, they're just not there yet. So they're working on it, I assume, because the United States is a big market for them, considering it's their southern neighbor. I would assume that they would want to get into many of these countries that are currently on the restricted location list, and there's good reasons why they're still on the restricted list. We can go into an FAQ, which we'll open here in a second. But what I wanted to bounce into before we get there, I want to look at latest news, and I think this is also important. We look at it from a perspective of press and media. We want to say, okay, what kind of news has been written about this company, right? Feel free to drop us a line and let's talk. I like that. Don't know if they'll respond. Here's press at CoinField. You guys can go on there and see if they'll respond to you and report back. However, what I do see here is quite a few latest press releases that they've issued. Press releases, coming from them. So let's open this up. Let's look at some of their newest press releases. This was in August 1. Let's see what they had to say. August 1. New credit card option for CoinField. Vancouver, British Columbia. They used the Globe Newswire. Big press release that they submitted is CoinField is adding credit card deposit withdrawal option in August. So that was July 31, and they get into it. They talk about, here's the CEO of CoinField. Let's open him up for a second, and they get a little bit into about CoinField, etc. Everything you would expect on there. Now let's get into seeing who is Bob Rass. There he is. There's Bob Rass. I bet we could pull him up on LinkedIn as well. There's the CEO. There he is on Twitter. 7,400 followers. Oh, check that out. Hey, Z-Bits, shout out to you. You're following Bob Rass. So Bob Rass of CoinField. Interesting. So we can probably go over here, join their team if you want to check them out, website, and you can go in and check out their Twitter. That's not our point to look at Twitter, so let's bounce back. So David D would like to see more recent news. I agree with you. Yeah, not bad, but 6 months gap between February and August, not smart. I agree 100%. I don't understand. I mean, you have a team. You have a big team of, I would assume. I mean, I don't know how big their team is, but we'll have to dig into that a little bit as well and really find out, how large is their team. Now here, again, yeah, they had press releases. They were killing it. Look at this. Killing it every month. But it's not a lot of press releases. I don't know how many press releases we should anticipate coming out of CoinField, but I think they need to keep everyone up to date. There should be more news at least once a month. I would think there would be some sort of information, but February to August, that's a pretty big gap. And maybe other things were going on in between. But look, they launched their white label crypto exchange software licensing program. This is really big. This white label, where do we hide it? So this is really interesting. Again, everything from A to Z, if you want to run your own digital asset exchange, I think that's key. If you're going to license it, man, if you're a financial institution and you want to have your own exchange, that's kind of cool. So let's go back here. Let's see. Here it was consistent, almost monthly. They had a little bit of a gap, April to July, then January to April. So, even if you did something once a quarter, but we need something. You need to communicate with your users, right? So, standard operating procedure for all websites should be once per month. I like that, David. I have no idea what this is in Korean. No idea what this person wrote. It would be nice if it was translated into English so we could understand what that comment says. So if you want to translate that into English, that would be great. And actually, that's not Korean, is it? That looks like it's maybe Chinese. It's definitely not Korean, is it? I can't tell. Maybe it is Korean. There we go. Thank you, Carl. Appreciate that. All right. So anyhow, so look at this. CoinField statement on the recent disappointment and mishandling of users' funds. So that was in February. So you got to look out for that. So maybe there's David, a little bit of a gap here. Let's open up this article. Let's see their statement. Man, that's important, especially coming off of what happened with Quadriga. Let's see what they said here. Canada's most advanced Bitcoin launched a new offering. CoinField. Wait a minute. What happened here? What happened to the this one? This is the one I wanted. Look at this. There we go. There we go. CoinField statement on the recent chain of events caused by Quadriga CX affecting Canadian traders. This is a disappointing time for Canadian crypto industry. We feel CoinField isn't a true representation. One that we feel at CoinField isn't a true representation of the people or business in it. However, this unnerving incident has brought to light an important conversation that Canadian cryptocurrency hodlers around the globe should discuss. At CoinField, we believe without regulatory guidelines, look at this statement, that's pretty good. Without regulatory guidelines, legitimate business and the rights of consumers are not protected. Instead, it opens up the environment for corruption and nefarious activity. Look at that statement. Holy cow. That's a pretty big statement right there. I like that statement. The history of Bitcoin is littered with exchange hacks and scams. They want to set a new standard. That's why providing cryptocurrency access to 100 countries worldwide and securely storing our users' asset is our top priority. That's a big statement. What was the title here? CoinField statement on the recent chain of... Okay. What did they put over here? Hang on. Don't want that up. Get rid of this. Don't need that. Go back. Now to our latest news. CoinField statement on the recent disappointments of the mishandling. So it wasn't about them. Man, why would they put that? That's a crazy statement there. So Then we get over here, and then they talk about their security. I think this is actually really smart. So this is really, really smart. Look at this. And this, I didn't find this on their website. I hope it's there. But as a company, choosing our cold wallet. See this, look at this. This is what I was looking for. Look at this. I love this. This is the most important statement that I've seen yet. And I hope people are identifying this as well. But man, look at this. So this is this is really amazing. David D translated. When we invest in Bitcoin, shouldn't we at least know who made it for what purpose? Bitcoin is not gold. When digital gold is recovered, no offense to our Korean guest. Yeah, I appreciate that, David. Yeah, thanks for putting that up there. Different conversation, but yeah. So well, that's a big conversation, but different conversation. So, but here, look at this. As a company, choosing our cold wallet and custodial service partner was one of the most important decisions we made. Man, and who did they choose? Look at this. We chose the best, BitGo. And that's like bingo, BitGo, the global leader. So this is their custodial service. This is where their cold wallet is going. This is huge. This is everything. This is the bottom line. So the fact that they're using BitGo, and we need to do another deep dive review on BitGo, but BitGo has become the industry standard. Man, I think that's important. If you're using the industry standard, now imagine BitGo, there's issues with it. We need to look into that a lot further. But that's the industry standard right now. All the big exchanges are using BitGo, and they're backed heavily. So that's important. And you go to an exchange and they don't say anything like that. That to me is a major red flag right there. Where's your cold wallet going? If you're managing your own cold wallet somehow, even if you're building redundancy, man, that's a scary proposition. Having a third party providing that cold storage, I think, is critical. That's really, really important. They provide institutional level security, and we know that, as well as the multi-signature wallets. Yep. So so that's key. When they talk about multi-signature. And then, sorry, hunched over this desk here, not comfortable. Another security feature they offer is storing all of their users' data in an isolated network of servers. So that's kind of key. So now they get into, so this is a very, very important press release. I think this is probably the most important press release that they could have had. I mean, this is crazy. You don't need to look into it. Just BitGo. Just go. Okay, now thoughts on regulations. Although Canadians may feel disheartened, we wanted to take this time to highlight the need. Look at this. Highlight the need for regulation in the industry. How many times have we heard that? We've heard that so many times. When an industry is in its nascent stages, it is favorable for there to be little or no regulation. But that's not what we want. It allows innovators and developers to test and create without restrictions and barriers. Yes, that's true. However, in Bitcoin's 10th year, it's time to put some guidelines in place. Interesting, right? At CoinField, we applaud the start of important dialogue in the regulation of cryptocurrency exchanges. Look at that. That's important because you can't have what happened to Quadriga. You can't have that the standard operating procedure to have everything just kind of Wild West mentality. Again, we're talking about mainstream adoption. We want to bring mainstream investors into this space. How are you going to bring mainstream investors into this space if it's Wild West and there's no regulation? You're going to scare half the people away, and that's why they've been heavily talking about how are we moving from point A to point B with regulatory clarity in the United States, getting some big push with the Token Taxonomy Act. Don't know what's happening with the Token Taxonomy Act right now, but hopefully it's going to get some legs, but we don't know. So let's see, look at this. We believe all exchanges need to be audited annually. Yes, a third-party audit is so important. It's so key. This is such a great press release. I can't even tell you guys because it's on their website. Big statement. big points here that I didn't find on the website. I didn't see anything about BitGo. Maybe it's there. We just didn't deep dive enough and dig through every web page. But man, look at this. And look at this. Talking about, supporting the government, which is, I think it's important because, look, we support the provincial and federal government of Canada in their endeavor to regulate the crypto. They're not saying over-regulate. They're not saying shut it down. They're talking about, we need some help. And it's so critical, though, that those that are responsible for and that are power leaders within this space, within the financial space of digital asset, they need to be players and they need to be there side by side with the government making the key decisions on regulatory changes as we start seeing in the United States. Now check this out. We have a team of 30 plus experts located in Vancouver, Canada. 30. That's a good start. That's definitely a good start. BC was founded by tech veterans and entrepreneurs Babak, Bob, Ras, and Reza. I can't tell you I know who they are. I have no idea who they are. But I bet if you look them up, we found the Twitter. We're actively seeking talent. So now they're, promoting, hey, you know what, come and work for us. Look how cool we are. They launched in April of 2018, so we're not that far off from like a year and a half in business. That's interesting. Achieving 100% user growth in a month's time. Then they launched the white label cryptocurrency trading software that we talked about. All within a year and a half. So now they're pumping themselves a little in the end of this press release. Oh man, look at this. This is the stuff they said in this press release. So key. Just so key. And like David was saying, man, they should have more like that. We want to hear from the if you're investing in that exchange, you want to hear from them. I would love them like CZ from Binance. I think it's great that he comes on Twitter and he does a Twitter recap. I think that is so important. They need to do a Twitter recap or do something video-wise. It's great with these these press releases. New XRP pairings with Stellar, DGB, USDC, stable. So they're announcing a lot of different things here. Look at this. Look at this one. All right, this was back in November of 2018 for all the XRP hodlers out there. Let's open this one up, and we're gonna, we're not gonna go through all of these press releases. I'm just picking out a few that I think are interesting because it's important. Look, XRP is the ideal choice to represent. Look at that. XRP is the ideal choice to represent CoinField's traders because it offers 3 highly desirable qualities. Look at this. Here's their 3 qualities. Boom. Look at that. You like that? They're offering 20 pairs against XRP. And this was November 2018, so Canadians out there, you might want to check into this a little more. I don't know. But I guess it's more than just Canada because it's in 100 countries. That's really important. Look at this. In a short period of time, XRP has proven itself to be one of the most reliable and most cost-efficient blockchains in the world. That's what Ras says. You can take that statement and you can send that all over the place. Here's again a head CEO of this exchange. This exchange looks like they've got their act together. I don't know. You got to make up your own decision. But they're definitely using some key points and making some key points. I think that's important. I'm not using this exchange. I can't use it. Not sure if they come to the U.S. If I would, I don't know. I'm happy with what I use now, but I might. If they're in the United States, they're offering some really cool things, so I don't see why I wouldn't. At this point, obviously time will tell. Let's see what they do to come over to the U.S. market. I don't know. CoinField's powerful new platform has gone live with an upgraded matching engine capable of making up to 75,000 trades a second or up to 1.5 million API calls per second. Interesting. Let's see. CoinField boasts a robust field of 28 trading pairs. Okay, that's interesting. So look at this. I mean, they've really been up to some cool stuff over the past year. And so this isn't even a year ago. And look at this. As base current in 61 country expansion, and now they're in 100 countries. That's pretty cool. Really, really cool. So here's their trading platform. create an account, verify funds, start trading, wide range of crypto pairs. Again, why use CoinField? Trade like a pro. They get into all this stuff. You can do it on your app. All that stuff is just their regular promo stuff. I know I opened FA. There's the FAQ. That's what I was looking for. We found the security. We talked about their compliance. Is CoinField secure? Why is it unique? Let's open this real quick. Let's open up their FAQs, because then you start digging in and looking at more information. Maybe it's above and beyond what they already provided. No. But let's look over here. Related articles. Can I use 2FA codes? What is CoinField? Suspected phishing. OTC order. Send funds. All right. So we already read about this, though. We got into, and you could look it up, but the FAQ doesn't really give you, a ton of information over there. Let me see here. How long does it take to fund or withdraw? Let's see. That's interesting. Wire transfer, 3 to 5. Interest transfers, 1 to 24 hours. SEPA, currently unavailable. It's for, all you guys. So, anyhow, you can go into transfer fees. You guys can dig through all that stuff. It's interesting. Let's see if they have pricing on here. Trading fees. Let's see. Let's open up trading fees, and let's open up transfer fees, because I think that those are interesting things. Let's get out of that. Okay, let's look at trading fees real quick. 0.05 maker taker. That's to the US dollar, XRP, USD, BTC, XRP. Look at all the XRP trading pairs. Lots of them. Lots of XRP trading pairs throughout this whole thing here. And you can see the trading maker-taker costs for that trade. Now let's look at, what was this one? Transfer fees. What are transfer fees like? If you're depositing, it's free. Withdrawal, minimum withdrawal, you got a minimum withdrawal 50. Look at that. If you're transferring, if you're withdrawing XRP, they don't charge you anything. Nothing to deposit, nothing to withdraw. Look at that. Boom and boom. How do you like that? Obviously, deposit across the board, they're not charging you. That's probably a good thing. Stellar has a minimum also, and they charge you a withdrawal fee. Where's Bitcoin? Bitcoin withdrawal fee. You can figure that out, whatever that is. Minimum withdrawal, 0.004. So, it's interesting. It's really interesting. Fiat deposit fee schedule. Wire transfer in US dollars, 500 minimum, 2 million maximum. That's a nice range. Free to put your money in, I'd hope so. Processing time, you get your money in 24 to 48. 1 to 3 day hold time, so it takes them almost 2 days to process. Then they're still going to hold it for a couple days. Minimum verification levels, so you have to have certain verification levels to go through that process. Then you can look at it from credit cards, $100, $2,000 max on a credit card. Here's where they're charging you 3% or a minimum of 5%. That's because that's the credit card fee. Processing is instant. So that's kind of cool that you can use a credit card if you want to pay the 3% to move it over there. And then here's their fiat withdrawal schedule. Hopefully there's no cost to this. It looks like there is. Well, on the wire transfer side. So there's some cost across the board to take funds out, to move money, because they have to do a wire transfer if you're taking out your USD. So you might as well just transfer. If you're in there, there's no point of trying to transfer dollars out. You might as well, at that point, if you have a better solution, you might want to transfer to another exchange. I don't know. You have to make up your own mind on what you do with that and figure out what the other exchanges might be charging or not charging. So I thought this was interesting. This is going through CoinField. You guys can go through and do a deeper dive. I thought that was interesting comments on there. Again, just wanting to really look at, all the key points. Ajax. They also allow direct deposits from your bank using e-transfers. That's important. And if you can get it back that way, that's pretty cool. CoinField and Bitrue seem to have most trading pairs. There's a lot of trading pairs on CoinField here. Yep, XRP hodler. In summary, sounds like 2 thumbs up from a HODL review. I think I would give it 2 thumbs up. Yeah, I think it's pretty solid. It checks off a ton of the boxes. You know, I like it. Can't use it, but that's it. You know, credit card fees. Yes, I agree with that. Also, credit card fees can be high. Liking need U.S. access, as Dansky was saying. What's the max withdrawal? You know, I didn't see that. You know, I don't even know if there's let's see, transfer fees. Yeah, deposit. No, that's deposit schedule. We ended cryptocurrency deposit. Oh, that's withdrawal fees too. Wait, minimum withdrawal fee is 0 if you take it out in XRP. I didn't, and the US dollar is what it was. What did we say it was? I forgot what it was. Oh, here we go. It was 1%. Oh, what's the max withdrawal amount? Oh, right there. There you go. 2 million. That US dollars, 2 million is the maximum withdrawal. So you can take out a minimum fiat withdrawal minimum. You have to extract 500, but you can take a max of 2 million. That's interesting. Yep, that's interesting. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of competition. Yeah, David, there's going to be, you know, a ton of competition, you know, popping up in this space. Coinbase right now has the foothold. Coinbase isn't that bad, you know, based on what they offer also. But maybe, you know, they're, you know, I think one of the key points, though, you're going to see a lot of the offerings that they have. But what's going to be critical, really, as we move from what they offer to customer service and support. Customer service and support is going to be everything. If you're lacking in customer service or support, then that's where things are going to be interesting. But there's really some serious contenders in this space right now. And man, I wouldn't play games, you know. So some of the key features that we talked about right in the beginning, making sure they're compliant with regulation and security, and we check those boxes right off the top. Now, the third thumbs up would be actual utility. So I have no idea. I mean, the platform might suck. I doubt it, but it might. I don't know. That's going to be important. David D, the exchange offering and support are going to be critical. It is exciting. It is super exciting. Let's see if there's anyone up in Canada or in any of those countries listed on the approved list. If you guys use it, maybe you can report back. If you guys want to leave some comments below after the video, let me know what you thought about this review. Again, this is HODL review. We will be going through a rebranding in the near future, hopefully very soon. More announcements on that will be coming. OTC. So I'll check you guys out. Glad that you guys made it in this morning and hung out with us. I got to run. I got to get my son over to tennis. So with that, I'll check you guys out hopefully soon. Have a great weekend.